Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, M. Cook, what's up? Yo, what is this? I'll tell you what this is. I'm in the computer world. You can see it behind me. You may recognize this guy. Fans, old long-time fans of 10 years at this point will probably recognize the security guard from Root and Deadlock. I added this little video footage to the bottom corner. You can probably see it, I hope. So basically, so people, new people coming in can kind of see what the games are all about, see what they look like. So that game playing now, that's Deadlock, our VR game. Not to be confused with Valve's Deadlock, right? Different Deadlock, 8 years older. And it's a VR game where you play as a system administrator defending against a direct denial of service attack, right? So it's a wave defense VR shooter. And anyway, we are, with our newfound capabilities and skills, we're thinking it might be time to revisit it. So I've been doing some work, off screen for a little bit, trying to just kind of get back into the groove of Deadlock and kind of taking stock of the old project, got the old project compiled and built again and all that, digging through the code base. And basically from that, I decided that we'll be better served to just start over. So there's a lot we can save, so we're trying to save some of the art. We're trying to save, the gameplay mechanics will be similar, but big changes too, I'm thinking. So it's going to be a total rework. Root is good. We're not touching Root. Revisited that too. But I decided Root looks pretty good as far as it's a completed game. And as much as I want to do updates for Root, what I'm thinking we're going to do is we're going to focus on Deadlock, build out a cool VR kind of like firefight kind of thing. And basically from there, that'll give us kind of a foundation to maybe take a stab at Root 2, right? And then Root 2, we can focus on making modular and extensible and add more DLCs and things like that. Yeah, welcome, Harrison. Yeah, I'm thinking we're back. So true. You are so right, Harrison. We're so back. So yeah, I was just kind of given the brief rundown of what's up, where we're going. Yeah, I have to apologize for my audio. I'm having a tree taken down outside, so I'm sure you can hear the chainsaws. I've got the noise suppression cranked up as high as it goes, but obviously there's only so much we can do. So how does everything sound? Can you at least hear what I'm saying? This is blowing your mind. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what we want. After all these years, yep, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back, and we've got a lot to work with. There's a lot of raw material in those old games that we started all those years ago, and we've learned so much. We've learned so much, and yeah, I think there's a lot we can do. Yep, it sounds great. Glad you're excited. And yeah, we'll do as much of this on stream as we can, because I kind of think this is sort of like a new way to do game development, because it's really cool being able to get real-time live feedback from people, people that are interested in the game, people that are going to play the game. You guys can kind of participate in the development of the game, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, so I don't have a whole big plan for today. I'm kind of just, I've just been sort of opening up the old project. I've got a new project. I'm experimenting with some different VR templates. There's a lot that's already in the engine in Unreal. and there's a extended VR template built in C++ that got a Epic Mega Grant, and it's pretty nice from what I can see. It gives a lot of like body locomotion and, you know, what do you call it, like collision, like enforcing collision in VR, which is a really tough problem to solve. And so it's been solved, it seems, from this plugin. So yeah, I think probably what I'm going to focus on is this guy, because he's... Let me see if I can pull up the old... Do I have him in here? Do I have the old guy in this file? Yeah, so this was version 1. This is what I made back in the Blender days. This is, you know, one of my very first models that I ever made. And then, you know, I updated him. That's the Unreal Mannequin. Just ignore him. He's just there for scale. Yeah, I updated him to something much more like this. Not quite. I've been actually changing this guy around a lot. Let me see if I have... Pull that over here. I'm gonna see if I can find the unedited Deadlock version of the guard. I've got this whole folder of salvage that I've just been pulling out of, like, you know, old hard drives that I've got stashed around the house with files from the old versions of the game. It's ridiculous. This might be a guard FBX. Get a new file, actually. Here he is. Yeah. So this is him unedited. Made this guy in soft image, but yeah. So you can see there's no wrinkles on the pants. These grenades have really weird topology. Oh, and this is something that I noticed, which just prompted me to, you know, kind of like bite the bullet and rework this guy. So this is the version that I made for Deadlock, and it's obvious to me, I don't remember much of that at all, but it's obvious to me looking at this model, that this was designed as a subdivision surface mesh, right? So you see how, like, this is what it looks like, and then you smooth it out, and so it creates these nice looking curves. And same with the packs. They're kind of coarse, but then you smooth them out, and they start to look much more refined. Same basically everywhere. Right? Yeah, look at that. Oh man, that's decent subdiv modeling right there. But, and same, these are obviously designed as subdiv. But the problem with a subdiv mesh, obviously, is poly count. It's too heavy. You can't just put that in the game. You gotta retopologize it. And so what we obviously did was, you know, we were running short on time for Deadlock, and, you know, we needed to get it going, so we were like, you know what, we're just gonna turn off the subdiv and we'll just skin that. And so that's obviously what we did. And this is bad. This is too dense. This one's too coarse. This is subdiv as well. See, and so I put all that work into the subdiv topology and never benefited from it at all, because I needed to take that extra step of applying the subdiv and then retopologizing it to be like a proper game mesh, right? So I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna finish this guy. I'm gonna do what I should have done 8 years ago and get this guy cleaned up and make the ultimate final guard. And then we'll also be able to use him in later games like Root 2 or, you know, Root 2 DLCs. Because you always need your security guard, the goon squad, if you will. And this guy is definitely the goon squad, so yeah, he deserves the best. He deserves the best. So I've started. Yeah, I changed his arms. I thought he could be a little beefier, you know, so beefed up his arms a little bit. Did a ZBrush sculpt, added some veins, you know. And went ahead and baked some textures, so we've got that ready to go, and then I'm working on the pants, adding some wrinkles, and the boots and the knee pads need a little bit of work. Working these, made these cleaner, everything thicker. You never want thin geometry in VR or anywhere, really. Thin geometry is the worst. Everything needs to be thicker than you think it should be. So, yeah, where did I leave off here? I think I was working on the knee pads. Yeah, that's right. So I'm working on the knee pads, trying to get these a little more cleaned up and ready to go. So yeah, I think we can probably dive in and work on that. Yeah, anybody got any questions, or does that sound like a good plan to everybody? Yeah, let me know about the volume. Trying to get close to my mic here so you can hear me over the work outside. ImSim Cook for anti-clipping purposes. I assume, are you asking about the thickness? Why I'm saying everything should be thick? No, it's not about on the thin geometry thing. Okay, yeah. So the question is, why? What's the reason behind making everything thick? And I'll tell you, the reason why we want everything to be thick is because of rendering. So rendering and aliasing and just simple readability, right? So like picture, like let's not even, we don't even have to talk about VR. Like let's just talk about regular games. You know, I'm aiming at this guy, you know, and I'm playing on my computer screen with my keyboard and mouse. And, you know, my screen is this big, right? Maybe you got a bigger one, but it's probably not huge. And you're probably sitting, you know, a few feet back from it, right? So this guy, how big is he going to be on screen? He's going to be like this. You know, he's going to be tiny. So you want those details. If I've got details on him that are like any smaller than this ring on the grenade, I'm going to be seeing him from like this far away, right? So like I can barely see that. Like this, like I really don't even need to worry about the ring. Like all you can tell, and like I had like these little dots, like I had these little like rivets like in the top of the grenade. You know, I had all these little tiny details, and they're just wasted because this guy's never going to be bigger than this. So you want everything to be like just as huge as possible because it's gonna all shrink together just by virtue of the perspective, right? Now we go into VR and it's like that, it's a little different because you've got so much more room to see, right? Like things are actually like real scale, but the principle still holds true, especially because with aliasing and things like that, if it's something really tiny and thin, it's just gonna like be really prone to aliasing, and it'll be like really hard to see. It'll just look like a mess. Like you don't even really know what you're looking at. And so like, yeah, like I can kind of demonstrate, I guess, like if I've got a, you know, a torus, you know, and I make the radius really thin, you see how like by the time I get out here, like you can't even really tell that that's a torus. It just kind of looks like, and I can turn the grid off to help. But like, yeah, see how, you know, awful that looks? It's awful. But if I come in here and I crank it up, let me do it on a copy. If I crank this up, you know, as much as I can, feel like a ring, but maybe something like that. That's maybe a little too much. But you see how now, like when I pull out this far, I can tell that that's a ring, right? Whereas this one just disappears. So you got to find that balance. And there's other really good reasons too. Like when it comes to baking, like baking this thing down into a texture, you can't bake this. There's not enough surface area. So you need a lot of surface area to bake things. So you just, you know, realism is not the goal. Readability is the goal. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, with all that said, let's start putting it into practice. Alright, so gotta get my Wacom tablet set up here. Come on, Wacom, don't give me any trouble. Alright, nice. So, yeah, so this is partially the Geo that I started with. I've been reworking it. Oh, Harrison says, details on things like guns and grenades really only make sense if the player can use them when it comes to FPS games. Yeah, exactly. It'll just be too hard to see it otherwise. Alright, so that's 16. That's also 16. Okay. I'm trying to remember if there's a... Yeah, circularize. That's pretty handy. I really hope this is the last time I remake this guy. The way I usually do, so subdivision modeling, kind of hate doing subdivision modeling, but so stuff like this is the worst. So you see how, you know, we've got these kind of round shapes and then we've got this end gun in the middle, and it looks fine until we smooth it out, and then it creates, you see all these weird little highlight artifacts, and, you know, I hate spending time fixing stuff like that, because I got a whole game worth of characters to make, right? But, you know, in this case, we're gonna try to do this right. So, the way I usually fix this is bridge across like that, and sometimes that on its own helps a little. So you see it fixes it here, but you still have it in the corners. So the way to fix this is usually like, there's different ways to do it, but let's see, something like maybe create a quad there. So like make that a quad, and then split it like that, and now it's all quads, right? Like they're quads in kind of a weird way, but they're still quads. And now that should smooth out a little better. It still has the weird pinching in the corners. Maybe that's not the best way to do it. Another option, the simplest option, is to just offset it and just scale that central one down so far that you can barely see it. That might actually work better. Yeah, so see, now it's like we still have the same problem, but it's like condensed down so small, you can hardly tell. Can I just merge these? That would be best. Ah, no, that creates the same problem. Yeah, subdiv modeling. Not easy. I think I'll just do it that way though, and just paint those errors out of the normal map, if even worry about it. It'll be so small you won't be able to tell. Alright, so I would like these ridges to feel smoother. Anytime you have a like a round shape like this, like conforming to a curved surface, it always takes a lot of attention to get right. That looks a little better. This is horrible geometry. Yeah, I don't know. But again, rule of thumb, right? Zoom out. Doesn't look so bad when you're zoomed out. Yeah, and so that principle of, you know, keeping things thick, it applies even to stuff like this. So like that highlight is thin. It would probably look better if it was thicker. And one way we can do that is by just moving it. There, doesn't that look better? So it's a tricky balance because I do want it to look sharp. That's probably the way to do it. So you can mark edges sharp in Maya, and that kind of helps. But yeah, I think that looks a lot better. You can compare it with this one, and yeah, it looks quite a bit nicer. It might look even nicer if it were scaled in a little bit. Yeah, it's all about readability. Yeah, I kind of like that. So now we gotta kind of do the same thing with this. That's not too bad. Let's see, this should probably be sharpened up a little. Do that like that. That helps. These are quite stubborn. That outer thing, I want to sharpen that too. It's looking pretty cool except for these blemishes. Alright, I'm actually gonna shelve this. Getting this to run on standalone Quest with good performance will be interesting. Sure will, especially considering the Quest is basically just a crappy Android phone from 5 years ago with 2 monitors strapped to it. I'm hopeful it can be done. No promises, but if we can pull that off, that'd be sweet. At least we have, at least there's AirLink now. So you can do wireless tether to a PC, have the PC do the actual rendering, but then just have it displayed wirelessly. That's honestly a huge game changer. Alright, just checking this file in. Scond ready. Hello, what's up? Didn't know, he says, I didn't know you were on the Deadlock team. Very cool. Okay, let me, not Valve's Deadlock. So, we've been having a lot of people confused about that. We made a game called Deadlock. It's a VR game. We made it for the HTC Vive 8 years ago, and it was an early access game, and, you know, for various reasons, you know, development on it kind of stalled, and now we're coming back to it. So, not Valve's Deadlock, different Deadlock. Hopefully still a cool Deadlock. Considering the game is light on textures, it's not completely unfeasible that it could run on the Quest. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Textures are the biggest performance drain, and yeah, we don't have many of them in our game. It's got a neon Tron styled aesthetic, so should work well. Oh, yeah. But still check it out. It should be fun. It's a fun game. Not anything like it. They're really not similar at all. Yeah, it's more John Wick in VR. Yeah, exactly. In my footage roll here, Deadlock comes up a few times, so keep an eye out for that. It's the VR game. It looks like, so this is Root. It looks a lot like Root, but it's got VR, right? So keep an eye out for it. Yeah, it's still cool. It's still cool. And we've got, so the original Deadlock was room scale. It was a room scale VR game. Because at the time, that's all people wanted to play. We even experimented with locomotion, but people said it made them sick, so we decided not to pursue it. But now we see there's, you know, locomotion-based VR games, you know, everywhere. So, you know, there's an appetite for that now. So we're thinking we're going to revisit it and try to, you know, make it more like Firefight in VR, right? Or like, you know, or John Wick in VR. But neon. The premise on Deadlock story mode wise is it's the same universe that Root takes place in. So meaning it's like it's a Tron kind of thing, like you're a hacker and, you know, you're inside this computer, you know, and if you die in the computer, you die in real life. And all the hacking is like represented by you don't actually die in real life. That's a lie. But like the idea is the hacking is all represented by like actual. Oh, here's Deadlock, by the way. This footage. So that's our VR game called Deadlock. And so it's set in this world where you're a hacker, and so, you know, all the hacking takes place. It's represented by combat against different, you know, kinds of, you know, creatures and enemies, and they represent, you know, defensive security programs. And so our game, the premise of Deadlock is you're a system administrator and you're defending your server against a direct denial of service, or DDoS. And so that's why it's waves, you know, like you're just kind of overwhelmed with all these, like, you know, requests to your server, and you're trying to, you know, stop it, and that, you know, takes the place of you being a guy with guns in VR, killing crazy, you know, robots and dudes with guns and attack dogs and stuff like that. Interesting, haven't seen too many VR projects. Yeah, well, they're kind of hard to work on. It's kind of a pain doing VR development, because you gotta, like, it's just so physical. Like, you got to take the headset on and off all the time, and you kind of get a headache after a while. I'm gonna try to do some of that, here on stream. We'll see how it goes. Right now I'm just making assets, so not too different from standard game dev stuff right now. But stick around and we'll hopefully get to some actual, like, VR prototyping kind of stuff. I think that'll be fun. Yeah, not the kind of thing you see every day. I'm definitely excited by the changes that have happened in VR. Because when we got started, all there was the HTC Vive, and it was like the first generation one. And it was this like heavy monstrosity with all these cables. And now we've got the Quest 2, and it's super light. It's a lot better, in my opinion. And it's lighter, and you don't need the base stations. So, like, I don't even know how that works. I don't know how it can find you without the base stations. But it's a game changer. I'm excited about it. And yeah, Airlink for Deadlock. I haven't actually played Deadlock on Airlink yet, but I was always like getting, because I'd like to, go hard, like diving onto the ground and stuff, and I'd always get tripped over that cable and just like break stuff in my living room. And now with Airlink, there's no cable, so that's pretty cool. You don't like strapping basically a monitor to your face for dev? Yeah, I do not, surprising. Yeah, too chunky, might get lighter and more efficient in the future. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It is lighter and more efficient than it was. So 8 years from now, maybe it'll be even better. I don't know, maybe there's like a ceiling it'll hit, but it's better than it was 8 years ago. At least I can say that. Can't say that for too many things. Quest 3 is supposed to be super light. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ironically not that educated about VR stuff. I'm kind of coming back to it, kind of relearning it. Wasn't following it at all for 8 years. Hopefully this is gonna look better. That's looking a little better. You know what? It's good enough for government work, right? We gotta move. We gotta keep this moving. Got a whole game to make. All right. Yeah, I'd love to make that a little better, but let's just see. It's better than it was, right? That's the name of the game. Incremental improvement. What do y'all think? Good enough? Or should I put more work into it? Vote now. Comments. Wait, let me see if I can catch up on these. Sim Cook. Harvey Smith tells a funny story about when they were making System Shock, and he had to test it for this. Crazy, heavy, and horrible VR system from the early 90s. It caught on fire on some dude's head. Whoa, okay, yeah. I'm sorry I was complaining about VR. At least that's never happened. That it can always get worse, right? So they threw it across the room and later found out it was 10 grand, which was probably a lot of money back then in the 90s. I mean, it's still a lot of money, but it's probably even more back then. Imagine trying to develop VR and your eyes burst into flames. Yeah, Root does run well on the Steam Deck. Nice, nice. So yeah, if it runs good on the deck, then it should run okay on VR. Early 3D-ish graphics. That's right, it runs on a kerosene-powered cheese grater. That's hilarious. Oh yeah, if you haven't heard of Airlink, if you've got a Quest, yeah, try it out. It's pretty sweet. You need like decent internet because I guess it kind of works over your Wi-Fi. But it's, oh man, not having that mess of cables trailing behind you is pretty cool. We need a new knee strap. One of the things that's kind of interesting about character design is how you have all these overlapping parts, and they all kind of need to work, you know, together with one another. So it's like, you know, I'm using the pant legs to build this strap, but the pant legs aren't final, so I need to like refine this strap shape to make it right, and then I'm gonna have to change the pant legs again to make them fit. So it's kind of this constant like push and pull. And in a lot of ways, just the longer you spend on it, the better it'll look. Probably pretty boring to watch, but it's important, I promise. I'm trying to basically just build like a ribbon of one-sided polys, just a quad strip to get the base of this in, and then I've kind of got like a process that I'll put it through in ZBrush to make it into like an actual like strap. Don't want to over detail it because, you know, I want it to read nicely, but I don't want it to look rushed either, like the old version. Wild One says, after playing Half-Life Alyx, I believe VR is the future. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go quite that far. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. But, you know, desktop games are just so comfy. You know, like VR. The other thing about VR too is they've gotta like, and maybe it's just because this is like the first like, you know, AAA VR game, but the gameplay is pretty easy and simple because, you know, things that, you know, would be effortless to do on the desktop are just kind of like crazy in VR. Like, you know, a headcrab jumps at you and you're just like, you know, it's like actually pretty legitimately terrifying. So it's a lot of headcrabs jumping at you, you know, and not a lot of crazy, you know, Unreal Tournament kind of like rocket jumping or anything like that, you know. So maybe over time it'll get more elaborate, but for right now it's pretty basic, you know, by design. So I am hopping into ZBrush, and I've got my knee pad strap and knee pad, and looking at it, it's way too thin. Why is it? Man, it did not look that thin making it in Maya, so just goes to show you perspective, you know. So I'm gonna come back to Maya and make this thicker, as always. Some Cook, I want to play Alex so bad. It's cool. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it is cool. Got a little bathroom humor going on in the chat. I'll just let y'all read that one. Is it better to retopologize the pants before tracing the strap around so there's no clipping? Why is that in quotes? Is that a question or? Well, basically, it doesn't matter yet because this is the high poly model. It just has to look right. Topology doesn't matter yet. It only matters if it's hindering you from making it look right. There we go. That looks much better. So now, yeah, gonna do a little sculpting. We do a little sculpting. I love this thing. It's called Panel Loops. And basically you click it and it makes a one-sided poly strip 3D. But it's got some, the default settings are kind of weird. So you want polish to be turned off and then play with the thickness. There we go. Now when I smooth it, that looks pretty good. And now I can go in and start adjusting it. Yeah, I'm doing a higher detail pass now, so it wouldn't make sense to retopo. Basically, I retopo, you know, if I need to, but the only time you need to is like, say, for example, like you've done like a lot of push and pulling, and you've gotten to the point where like your polygons are like really stretched thin and not evenly spaced, then you might need to retopo. But you could also just Dynamesh, which is what I do a lot. Alright, so... Oops. I can't mirror that. Oh, wait, that's wrong mirror. Yeah, there we go. Oh no. Don't want to do it that way. Got to do it at the highest subdivision level. Mirror. And then, there we go. Now we've got subdivision. Nice. Mirror that. Okay. And so now we can start changing the pants around to fit the new straps. There are some people that, like, their ZBrush cloth sculpting is just insane. I've been practicing, trying to get better at cloth sculpting forever. And it's just not even close. It's just not even close to what I see some people doing. That's something I'd love to get better at. I don't know how they do it. We just gotta be good enough. Just gotta be good enough. It's an indie game, you know, so... I mean, not that that means it's bad, right? But we're gonna prioritize gameplay. Gameplay and vibes and story and all that stuff, and I'm gonna do the best I possibly can on everything else. Cloth sculpting is ridiculously tough. There's people who just do clothes for sure. Yeah, for real. Marvelous Designer is a good start, I think. Yeah, Marvelous is pretty cool. I don't know. I haven't really messed around with it that much, but it's how do I want to formulate my thoughts about Marvelous Designer? I don't love the idea of, like, outsourcing my cloth sculpting to a simulation, right? Like, because Marvelous is going to, like, simulate the folds and, you know, use physics to do it. And it's not really the same as, like, sculpting it. So, I mean, that's cool. And, no hate or anything to people that use Marvelous. It's awesome, you know. But, I don't know. There's something about just hand sculpting this stuff that just feels like being, like, you know, a Renaissance sculptor or something. I guess that's just, like, the pretentious hipster in me coming out. But I don't know. I love that, and I love seeing people that do that kind of sculpting, that just beautiful, you know, hand sculpted stuff. You know, there's fingerprints on it. You know, it's like somebody really, really, like, spent time and, like, thought about it and, you know, did it as an artist, you know? To me, Marvelous is like one step away from AI, you know? It's because it's like, obviously, we use technology, and, you know, technology can enhance our art and make us capable of things we would not be capable of without it, right? I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be making games without technology. And we're never gonna, you know, we shouldn't shy away from new technology that lets us make cooler games, but, you know, it's just like, I don't know, you gotta love it too, right? You know, and if I'm just trying to, like, get the best result as quickly and efficiently as possible, then I'm missing the point. You know, I've lost the plot. I'm not being an artist anymore, you know? I'm being, like, an assembly line, like, efficiency expert, and that's not what we're here for. You know, we're here to make something kind of weird that might be kind of dumb and, you know, might be silly and, you know, but it'll be ours, right? Let's see. Yeah, a good start is, like, Bridgman's work, too, if you want to see how cloth drapes. Oh, is that who's Bridgman? Is that an artist? When someone goes out of their way to handcraft every element, that person's essence will inevitably be imprinted on it. And that's neat. Yeah. Yeah, it's neat. You know, when someone's, playing this game, and, they, killed one of these guys and they're, watching the ragdoll freak out and, do funny video game glitch stuff and they look at the pants. It's like, those are, we made those pants. Different kinds of folds, diaper folds in a very fine art kind of way. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about, man. But I'm sure it's awesome. George B. Bridgman. Okay, I'll look him up. George P. Bridgman kind of sounds like a Death Stranding character's name. At least the Bridgman part, right? Because everybody's got, man, like Dead Man, Die Hard Man, and they all work for bridges. So then you got Bridgman. Bridgeman. You read my mind. Or I read your mind. Wild One says it sounds like the name of a drawbridge operator in a Kojima game. Yeah. I made the joke first. It's my joke. Copyright, joke, do not steal. This is the other thing about sculpting cloth, is it can't be symmetrical. I mean, sometimes it can. Sometimes I do mirror legs, because sometimes you can get away with it, but you shouldn't, right? And it's really tough. Sometimes it's like one side you're like, oh yeah, that's looking solid, and then the other side it's like, this looks like trash. And that's the worst, because it's like, how do I make this side look okay? For those of you just now tuning in, we're just sort of working on this guy. He's a basic enemy for our VR game and for our desktop game that the VR game is based in the universe of. And we're trying to sculpt pants. And pants are underappreciated. They're a very complex entity, much like water or fire. The elements that are difficult to paint. Water, fire, and pants. Hands are up there too. Having some tree work done outside. I don't know if y'all could hear that crash. I saw the shadow. I saw this big old branch came down. That kind of spooked me, not gonna lie. Stream just cuts out and goes to static. It's because a giant tree branch just crushed me and I'm dead. Don't say it, don't manifest that. Man, this VR stuff looks real. No kidding. This is getting there. These slacks are looking much more combat ready. Heck yeah. Speaking of, so I'm thinking these boots are no good, right? We really need new boots. I have a character that I was working on for our other game that I've been kind of working on and off for 10 years. He's the Knight from Denizen. Our most devoted fans will surely remember Denizen, which is a free demo on itch, and in fact I need to add it to this little video thing. I even forgot to add it. But it's a full demo that we did totally put together back in 2017, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's definitely like on the burner to revisit someday. But yeah, so I've been working on this guy because I just think he's cool. I'm just obsessed with this knight, and yeah, it's Knight Atlas, and he's a knight that uses a submachine gun. And a, berserk buster sword. Here he is. And he's a long way from being done. Ignore this, that's a live boolean. I need to render booleans. There we go. So this is him. And yeah, the idea is he's this knight that's been wandering in this, purgatory forest, and he's lost parts of his armor, so he's replaced them with modern military, Kevlar and stuff like that. And so yeah, so the idea is, I think, he's a long way from being done, and Denizen is nowhere even on the horizon right now, but maybe he can live on through his boots. I think I'm gonna steal his boots. Whoa, look away, oh no. He's got nothing but his boots on. I think, what is the easiest way for me to move this between tools? Yo, Guts got a gun on him. That's right. And he's also got boots. Well, let's see, I'm gonna try to just migrate these over. Because yeah, they're about the same size, you know? I think we could steal these. What do y'all think? Is that cheating? They are mine. I made them. Original boots. The pants were holding him back. There's 3 levels of Knight Atlas. There's the version of him in full armor before he loses the armor. Then there's the version of him with only the Kevlar, or half Kevlar, half armor. And then the final version, he has no pants. That'd be hilarious. Probably have to move these over one at a time. So... ZBrush is so weird, by the way, just in case you didn't already know. So I gotta go to this subtool, highlight the part that I want to bring, then go back here. If anybody knows a better way to do this, I'm all ears. Append, go back here, append, just repeat, append, back here, append. I know this is riveting. Append. And sing that piece now. Append. Is that all the parts of the boot? I think so. Steal those boots! Okay, so they're not in the right spot, so we'll need to rework this a little. Let's see here. We're gonna mug a 3D character for his shoes. Give me your shoes. Okay, so they're too small, too low, and too far out. It's a good time to show off some ZBrush craziness. And this is new in ZBrush, by the way. Moderately new. Let's see, so where's my manipulator? There it is. Alright, so you set it to center. Okay, so here's the idea. You can select multiple things in ZBrush as of like 2020, and no sooner than that, or no earlier than that. So you have to hold Control, Shift, Control and Shift, and then you click all the subtools you want. Yeah. Then you can move it around together. Just really nice. So, turn these on for reference. Oh, nope. Hang on. I don't want to move those. Alright, there we go. I've got symmetry turned on. Get these lined up. Crash. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay. Now we have some new boots. Right. see, feels like they're maybe a little far back. Just scoot that forward. This guy's got such weird body proportions, but we're not going to change that. It's his character at this point. Yeah, something else I might have neglected to mention is while we're reworking this guy, I've been using the McSpaceBiff skeleton as reference, and so I'm mapping him out, changing him so that he perfectly conforms to the McSpaceBiff skeleton, and that way we can retarget the McSpaceBiff animations to this guy, and vice versa. Yeah, so yeah, Mild One's pointing out that the toes should point more forward. I agree in theory, but what they really need to do is they need to point exactly where McSpaceBiff's toes point. So yeah, see, I've already started working in the guard geo into the McSpaceBiff rig. So here's what I'll do. I'm gonna take those boots as reference. Oh no, okay, hang on. That, there we go. Now export them. Now import them. That didn't fix it. Let's try just redoing that. Darn, really? Oh, we're still Z up. That's why. There we go. Now we're Y up. So this is all because Unreal Engine is Z up, Maya is Y up, ZBrush has no concept of up, and so it's quite a lot of fiddling to get all of these things right. There we go. These boots are a lot smaller. They are pointing the right way, it would seem. Hopefully. Right. These are too big. I need to scale these down. One second, I'm gonna go grab my water. Alright. Man, are these the right scale? They do not look like they're the right scale. Okay, the guard feet are definitely bigger. guard feet were bigger, and now we've got Knight Atlas's feet. We've got 3 kinds of feet here. Those are the guard feet. Yeah, Knight Atlas's feet are too big. I think I overdid it on the scaling. That looks a little more reasonable, perhaps. Like that. Oops. Oh. That should do it. Check this out in Maya, because I can never get a sense of scale in ZBrush. Decimate this guy real quick so we don't crash the computer. This is something that drives me crazy in my, so when you switch the up vector between Y and Z, it breaks the camera. Like, it breaks the camera's pivot. Ugh, and I have a little script that's supposed to fix it, but does not always work. And I can never exactly remember which of these offsets are the ones that break it. Oh, great, and now I'm not changing the camera's offsets. Okay. There we go. See, otherwise it pivots from a point that's like behind the camera, and that's just not what you want. Adrian VR, hi. Hi, Adrian VR, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We are working on our game, Deadlock, which is a VR game. That's the footage playing right there. It's not Valve's Deadlock. We started Deadlock 8 years ago. It was an early access game, and then, you know, we kind of went on, you know, sort of hiatus for a while, did some other things, and now we're kind of thinking about coming back to it. So, yeah, this stream, I'm just kind of working on some stuff. I'm working on this guy. He's a character. You can probably see him running around in the video. But yeah, we're just kind of moving along. I'm trying to give this guy some new shoes. His shoes were a little... I started this model, you know, when I was first learning 3D, you know, over 10 years ago. So it's, you know, time for an upgrade. Poro, hi, hello, what's up, Poro? Welcome, welcome. I should build out a spiel for when people mistake this game for Valve's Deadlock. Yes, I should. I'm getting it. You know, just give me a few tries, I'll get it down. So test this against, oh wait, that's probably good. Yeah. And I am having some tree work done outside, so if you hear loud crashing and chainsaws, that's why that is. I've got my filtering set as high as it goes, but, you know, not much you can do when it comes to chainsaws in your backyard, so I appreciate the patience. Troopzor, hey man, what's up? Yeah, Troopzor. I love how many of the Steam forum posts are about getting invites to the other Deadlock. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not funny at all. But yeah, so we are back. We are back working on Deadlock. It's been 8 years. We get a lot of people being like, you know, you abandoned your game, and you know, there's a lot of reasons for that, but we're back now. I've learned a lot about game dev. When we started Deadlock, I literally didn't know how to do anything. I was just doing 3D art. I mean, I knew how to do 3D art, but now I know blueprint, I know rigging, you know. I've done a lot of freelance kind of stuff. I've done a lot of a lot of other stuff, a lot of practice, so it's time to put all of that together and make a new game. There we go. And I'm excited. Also, VR has changed, right? When we made Deadlock, everybody, got really mad at us when we added locomotion. Everyone was like, this makes me, everyone complained about it, said it was too nauseating. And now, that's normal. Just, VR locomotion is just standard to every VR game, so we always wanted it to be that kind of game, and now that kind of game exists, so we can do it. So yeah, right now on this stream, I'm just kind of focusing on touching up some of our very old artwork. This is one of the first characters I ever made, and it shows... this is the very original. Look at this guy. So that's where I started, in Blender. And now, we've got him a little... I updated him again in 2016 for Deadlock and for Root 1.4. And now I'm updating him once again. Possibly this will be the final incarnation of the security guard. Trying to keep him faithful to his original odd character design, which is quite honestly a product of my inability to model anatomy in any realistic way, but, it kind of works for Root, and now it's his personality, right? So we're gonna try to keep it. We've got, there's like characters in our forums now that people know. I'll be honest, I have not even looked at the forums. Yeah. Shocking admission. But I assume it's a lot to do with a game that I didn't make, so my attention is limited. I gotta focus, I gotta lock in. This is a special stream, basically come full circle from earliest work to now. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun. We tried VR locomotion literally the month we started development, and people threw up everywhere. Yes, true. But now, people are better, stronger. This could be it. This could be it. You're so right. People are ready now. They weren't ready before. But now there's Half-Life Alyx and other VR games that I also haven't played that I should probably try to play. But yeah, we're doing it. And this guy's legs don't make any sense. I need to remember, it doesn't have to be actually all that good. It just has to be good enough. Yeah, honestly, part of what makes me most excited about this, I'm excited about Deadlock, especially with some of the new ideas we came up with, and the idea of making it, like, not just a room scale experience, but, kind of pushing that a little further. So that I am excited about that. But what I'm really excited about is kind of gearing up for Route 2. Because so much of what we have in McSpaceBiff could really apply itself well in Route 2. And dude, we have so many ideas like that have just been, just sitting for a decade now for Route 2. It's there, yeah, there's so much that we want to do with it. And yeah, I think it could be very fun. Yeah, with Unreal, with the tools we have now, it's a whole different ball game. There's really no comparing. Yeah, Route 2 was originally just going to be part of Route 1. Yeah, Route 1 is basically a full game of tutorial for Route 2 that we never got to make. Yeah, there's 3 parts that we've got, pretty much fully written out and planned. And yeah, Route 1 was just like the first act. But of course, like all indie devs, we way over designed our game, and it was way too ambitious, so we just were like, screw it, it's a trilogy now, we'll just do what we have, and we'll just call it Root. Which was honestly the right call. But then we never got around to 2, so someday. I found a bunch of old art on my drive recently from Route 2 that I had totally forgotten about. And it's like decent, it's all not that bad, so just a little bit of touch-up. Could probably use a lot of it. So that was kind of fun. It was like, oh this is already done. Oh, you want me to show some of it? Okay. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let me save this guy. Let's see here. I should have it right here. Just a little bit. Yeah, not everything. Yeah, I'll show you the iBot. Yeah, this guy. The idea is, I honestly don't even really remember what these guys were really going to be, but they're like surveillance drones that like float around and keep an eye on everybody in the system. And so they've got this these tentacles, but these are like GPU cables, right? Because it's all it's all taking place in a computer. And these tentacles will be like animated, like they'll kind of, float. Imsim Cook, I want to be able to fire a dart into an enemy that engages a hacking minigame that if I win will allow me to either fully possess or turn the enemy on my side for a brief amount of time. Oh, that's interesting. We definitely, minigames have kind of honestly been one of our, no minigames, we hate minigames. That was kind of a core tenet of Root, to be honest. But as we've gotten older, I can see more room for minigames. You know what they're great for? They're great for slowing people down, right? And that's why we hated them, right? Because it's like, just let me get to the gameplay. I don't want to do a minigame. Just give me a hacking dart that just does it. Don't make me play the silly game. But now I understand why people do it. There's a business case for it, because a minigame slows people down. And the more you can slow them down, the longer they spend in your game. The longer they spend in their game, the more they perceive value from your game. Which is really dumb, right? Because a game if short, can still be super valuable. And there's value in not wasting your time, like intentionally not wasting your time. But that's not the way psychology works, you know, and so now we understand that. So I do see, yeah, so maybe on mini games, I guess, but I don't know, maybe add like an INI file tweak to just disable them so people that get it and are strapped for time can just skip it. Built for Route 2, hidden away. The hype is so real. Oh, heck yeah, dude. Should I show anything else, Harrison? I am looking forward to seeing these guys floating around. I think that'd be very surreal. Oh, Hammer Orc. Okay, let's show off the Hammer Orc. He's in here somewhere. Is this it? Yeah, it's a little hard to see, a little hard to make out his details, but that's a hammer. And he's got this cool helmet. And so these guys, there's a footage of him up here actually in the game. In fact, I think it's coming up. Let's wait for it. I think it'll, like, yeah, watch the little footage thing and you'll see the original orc in a minute. 90% sure, not 100% sure. There he was. Yeah, that was him. We need to update that guy, the Headless Horseman, for sure. There's a better clip of the orc in here. I think it's coming up. Oh, never mind. Anyway, he was in the original, but he didn't have the helmet and he didn't have the hammer. He used a weapon, like a plasma gun. But now he's got this hammer, and so the idea is we might have this guy in VR. Because how cool would that be? You know, to see this guy coming at you, you know, swinging his giant hammer. That'd be pretty scary. With shader. Oh, yeah, let me see if I have that. I think I've got a screenshot of the shader. I gotta go digging for it, though. Here it is. Yeah, so yeah, that's the old shader. He looks better than that. He will look better than that, anyway. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, that's enough for today. Nice. Is that the first boss of Root? He killed you so much. I'm not going to read the dirty words. I might get banned. But yeah, no, this is not the first boss of Root. That is... I have him in here too. Hang on, where is he? That's him, I'm pretty sure. This is the first boss of Root. And yeah, he was a menace. The headless guy was sick. Yeah, that was my favorite enemy, to be honest. And he's got the worst art. He's the only one that, like, I never really updated, so definitely need to revisit him. I've got some ideas for making him a little more, like, cool. A lot of ideas for him, actually. Alright. Oh yeah, the Wraith was the first boss. Yeah, he's in this video. I'm so glad I added this video. There he is, that's the Wraith. Oh, there's the Orc. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I'm so glad I added that. Now when people are asking about stuff, it can just be like, yeah, it'll be up there. Just wait a minute. Alright, let's get back to work. We'll never finish this game if we just talk about it all day. guy needs boots. Honestly, these boots are pretty decently detailed. I guess, okay, well, we do need, like, treads, right? Yeah, definitely. This is a mess. What is even going on here? Thought talking about your game all the time and never developing it is how indies operated. Yeah. Not around here. We do a little development too. Not too much, just a bit. Just a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna try to add a little bit of texture to this, the bottom of this shoe. It's one of those things, you know, you'll never see it until you do. And once you do, you'll be like, whoa, whoa, it's detailed. So it's worth it. Yeah, don't worry, we're gonna finish the McSpace Biff demo too. In case you were worried about that. There's nothing to worry about, we're definitely gonna finish it. And it's honestly getting pretty close. Hey, I thought I turned on... How'd that get turned off? You gotta be kidding me. So yeah, not a whole lot to talk about with what I'm doing. Just kind of your usual ZBrush stuff. Trying to mask out a tread pattern. Then I'll make it into geometry, which we will bake down into normal maps eventually. Don't want these guys slipping while they chase the player around, you know? Right. Didn't mean to do that. Oh yeah, make sure to turn that off. Okay, now that's not even that bad. Yeah, I might be able to just actually roll with that, to be honest. Nice. Gotta love it when stuff works out. This guy might be getting there. I think those boots were the biggest problem. And now they're pretty good. We still need to do the laces. Yeah, not too bad. Pants need some work, but we'll probably just kind of keep just trying to make the pants better, you know, right up until the end. It's kind of how that always goes. I have a lot of reference of pants on my other monitor that I use to try to make it more realistic, but it's tough. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be that realistic. It's not Call of Duty. It just has to have a vibe and look right. Rather it look right than realistic. And interesting. You know, we want it to look interesting. And I think in this guy's case, the thing that makes him look interesting is just how incorrect his anatomy is. So, you know, we can use that to our advantage. Well, I need a new belt. Bring these new grenades in too. So that there, the reason those just kind of collapsed when smoothing is because there's no retaining loops. So we can add those. That should help. For anyone who's tuning in that's new and has no idea what's going on, we're Skunk Ape Interactive. We make weird games. We've been doing it for a long time, then kind of went on hiatus. Now we're back in the fight. We're a two-man team. We do pretty much, we do as much ourselves as we can. We use as few plugins and basically no stock assets. A little thing here and there, but for the most part, we develop everything ourselves. And yeah, we're working on a VR game called Deadlock, which we started 8 years ago as an early access game for the first HTC Vive. We never were quite happy with it for a lot of reasons, and then we kind of stopped working on it, couldn't work on it for a lot of reasons, and now we're back to it, and we're gonna do some experimenting with what could be with the new VR world. Things like people being used to locomotion systems in VR because they weren't in 2016. So this is a character from Root, which is the original game that Deadlock is set in the same universe with. And yeah, I'm just kind of touching him up because I cut a lot of corners back then. And, he deserves the best, So yeah, we're doing a little touch-up on this security guard character, and gonna make a new mesh for Deadlock. It's gonna be fun seeing him in VR. Probably after this is done, I'll probably take him into VR, into Unreal, and start messing around with some... Well, got a lot of groundwork to do first, but the most exciting part will be getting to doing behavior trees. AI, to make him actually move around and do things. I'm basing his body proportions on another character that we already have a lot of animation for. That's Captain McSpaceBiff. That's the other game that we have been working on for over 10 years, on and off. It's kind of our dream game, the two of us. And yeah, so we're trying to make that happen. That's playing up there in the corner right now. That's McSpaceBiff. It's work in progress, but the goal is to get a playable demo together ASAP. Not really able to give an estimate how long it'll take. We're kind of dividing our energy now between multiple projects, so we'll see how it goes, but we've been working steadily at all of this stuff. We stream, I stream twice a week and Harrison streams twice a week for, a few hours. And yeah, we're making some slow, steady progress that way. So we'd love it for anyone who's interested in game dev or who's, seeing these games. This is Deadlock, by the way. So that's the original VR version of Deadlock. And it's on it's on Steam. The old Unity build is on Steam and it's still for sale. It's on sale right now, 75% off. Pick it up. So it's like $1 or something, and it's a decent little VR game. It's got a long way to go still to be a complete, fully fledged thing, but it's $1. So if you're looking for a good exercise game for VR, some cardio, it's actually pretty good for that. So yeah, anyway, that's what we're up to. That's what we're doing. Be sure to follow us, tune in, see all the stupid stuff we get up to. I'm always down to answer questions about what we're working on or game dev. We've got a lot of aspiring game devs or, already game devs in our community. Love to hear what they're working on. Yeah, just shout it out if you're on YouTube or Twitch. Just leave a comment. It's not that hard. You just type it out, hit send. I'll read it. I apologize for all the chainsaws in the background. There's nothing I can do about that. I've got the mic filter on high, but you can probably still hear it. This guy's gonna look pretty cool in VR. What's left? Oh, shoelaces, I guess. And this bandolier really needs some attention. This doesn't make any sense. They're just clipping through his packs. Lazy. Me was being lazy, and now I'm suffering the consequences. Save. Thought it was going to crash for a second. That's right, he needs a new belt, too. I'm thinking I was probably intending this guy to be multiple variants. And that's probably why that bandolier of shotgun shells and the packs overlap. I think, yeah, he was probably supposed to be multiple variants, so like they wouldn't use both at the same time. It'd be like either or. And then somewhere along the line, getting him into the game, we probably just forgot and just turned them all on. And they have these weird faces. They're not human, obviously. They're weird computer world people. It's not like I was going to model a face back then. I didn't know how to do any 3D modeling. Honestly, I still don't know how to model a face. I'm a big fan of helmets for that reason. Or bizarre, non-human, weird characters. That's where it's at. You don't need to learn anatomy if you just make your characters weird. Am I making excuses? Absolutely. Right, let's see here. Interesting that I modeled that little loop on the holster. I wouldn't do it that way anymore. Just put it up against it. Need to figure something out for this belt, I think. Do I have a good belt reference somewhere? Taking a look at my reference board. Is where it starts to get confusing when you got all these different meshes. What if I just stole that buckle? Why not? Right? I really need to make like a library of stuff like this. Like just random, detail pieces. That would be smart. This way I wouldn't have to like re-center and symmetrize it. Always replace that later if I come back and think, that doesn't look very good. Probably gonna call it pretty soon. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours. Decent progress overall. Well, I could have made more progress if I'd talked less, but is what it is. If anybody's got thoughts they want to share or questions, give them to me now before I sign off. I'm just gonna kind of make a few final touches here and then sign off. Definitely stay tuned. I'm not exactly sure what's coming next, but it'll be interesting. And hopefully soon we'll actually have some gameplay to share. I've got a little bit kind of blocked in, but it's extremely rough and would probably not be too interesting yet, but I think it's close. Once we get this guy in and get some of his core behaviors nailed down, then we'll be cooking. And we've got so much groundwork laid from McSpaceBiff that should really help us kind of move quickly. Because we've got basics of AI kind of down, we've got, you know, animation blueprints, we've got humanoid animations, there's a lot that's going to carry over, and I'm really excited about that, because that's never really happened before. We've kind of always been constantly reinventing the wheel, which is not good, and so we're finally working smarter. I think this guy's in a okay shape. Probably just needs some more tweaking, and after that he should be good to go. Cool. Alright, well, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. And be sure to follow us if you're not. Tune in. Harrison streams Tuesday and Thursday nights. I stream Monday and Wednesday in the afternoon this time. Harrison's on at 8 to like 11, and yeah, he does level design, and I do this kind of stuff, character stuff, creature stuff. We may be starting some new kind of things soon, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, if you haven't wishlisted McSpaceBiff yet, be sure to do that. And Deadlock and I think Root are also on sale, so check them out if you haven't already. And sweet. Alright, well guys, it's been fun as always, and yeah, so I'm gonna sign off. Have a great day. Alright, see you guys.